everyone, welcome back to Bit by Knit with me, Jenny. I'm here with you guys today, finally returning to bring you another podcast on my knitting channel. It's been a while. I didn't actually mean to be gone for as long as I was. I think I took 5 or 6 weeks off. I only wanted to take maybe a month off, like maximum kind of 4 weeks was the plan. But time kind of got away from me. We were busy doing a bunch of stuff. I'll give you a quick little rundown, I guess, of what we got up to. The last episode, when I finished that one, we were going to our trip to the Kootenays in beautiful British Columbia. And that's where my husband's family live. We always do a family reunion there every year. And so we went to go see them for a week. And then that was like amazing trip, beautiful weather, couldn't ask for anything better. Sunny, we had a blast, the kids had such fun. And then when we got home after that, we had to quickly unpack, do laundry. I had 3 shifts to work at my job that I had to come back for, and then repack, and off we went again to California for 11 days. So we had been planning to go to California. Well, actually originally was going to Disney World back in 2020, and then of course the world shut down and we had to cancel, and we finally were able to recover that missed trip. And so instead of going to Disney World though, we went to Disneyland and Universal and the beach and just hung out at the pool for a couple of days and had an amazing trip there. Whew. And then when we came back, I worked a bit, and then I was planning on recording, and then a couple of things came up with the family that kind of threw my plans out the window and I had to deal with that stuff instead. Everything's fine, but it just upset the timetable, you know how it is. And then we had beautiful weather, so I took advantage of that and took the kids to the beach for a day, and we actually ended up going camping for a few days too, which we just got back from yesterday, which was a long weekend. And here we are today on Tuesday, September the 3rd, I think. 3rd? Yes, I believe so. The kids are supposed to be back to school. This is the first day of school, but my kids are both home today because their school starts tomorrow. So I am getting this in before school starts, which is something, technically speaking. Anyways, it's fine. We're back. Hopefully there will not be such a long gap between videos from going forward. But today I do have a number of things to show you guys. I actually have, okay, this is going to be kind of sad. I thought I would have a ton of stuff ready to show you, all finished, all the things that I had going on, plus more, but on both of my trips, I didn't actually do a ton of knitting. On the trip to the Kootenays, I didn't do anything because we were way too busy. I ended up purchasing some stuff, which I will show you later. But I didn't actually knit anything or crochet anything. It was just too busy. And then on our trip to California, the only thing I did was I crocheted a couple of those pot holders that I'm making for Christmas presents. And I think I did two. I did 2 of them. And both of them were done on the plane ride to and from California because while we were there, I just didn't have time to do any knitting. I'm not the type of person that can like stand in a line and knit. I don't have the, I guess I can't really knit and not look at my knitting. I can do it, but not well. I have to practice that. So it's very difficult for me to knit when I'm on the go. And yeah, so anyways, that's all I got done. But then when we got back, and between the time of getting back and now recording, I did do a lot of knitting. So I did get some stuff done. So we're going to start with my finished objects. I'll start with the smallest one because it's on top of the pile, so I might as well start there. And I promise you guys, this is the last one I'm going to show you, at least in this colorway, because I have made several of these, and it is the Fingering Weight Yarn Cozy. This is the Fingering Weight Yarn Cozy by Heathland Knits, or Melina Franken is the name of the designer. I'm going to bring it up nice and close for you. This is with Bramble Ridge's sock base yarn. It's 85% merino and 15% nylon, and it's in the colorway Duck. It's a fingering weight yarn. It's beautiful. So I had 2 skeins of this yarn. I've used them for 2 pairs of socks and like 5 of these yarn cozies. And I'm finally done it. I have a little bit left that I put onto my magic knot ball that I plan on, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I have a magic knot ball that is there for something. Okay, so this is done. It's a top-down pattern. You do a bunch of ribbing first, and then you do, I think it's 1x1 ribbing, and then you go into a 3x1 ribbing, and you bind off, or do a bunch of decreases, there we go, to get a cool pattern at the bottom. And that's your bind off. I do make mine a little bit longer than the pattern suggests, and I even still find that it is sometimes a bit too short, especially when I have like a chunkier yarn wound up that I'm putting in one of these yarn cozies. It still kind of sticks out the top, so I should even make it next time longer than this, which I might do if I get more yarn that I want to make for yarn cozies, or I have leftover yarn that I can do yarn cozies with. So I think that's all I have to say about that. I actually have them, a couple of them in use that are in one of the projects on the go that I'll show you what I mean by they kind of stick out the top. So that's my first finished object. And you actually might be wondering, hey Jenny, I know you were working on a couple of t-shirts and hopefully they're finished objects, why aren't you wearing them today? And I will tell you why. My first finished object of my t-shirts, I forgot to weave in one of the ends, is this. It's the Sammensat 24T. Yeah, Sammensat 24T by Elspeth Judith, and I knit it pretty much to pattern. I forgot, so for the neckline, I forgot to switch my needles. So in the pattern, it says to use a smaller gauge needle for the neckline, like for the ribbing, than in the pattern, which is pretty typical. I forgot to do that for the top neck, which might be why I'm having issues. For me, I was using the 3.25 millimeter needles. The pattern calls for 3.5. I went down a needle size because my gauge swatch was a bit big, which is kind of surprising. So I went down a needle size. So like technically my neck is on a smaller needle than what the pattern normal needle size is, but not the smaller needle that the pattern suggested for the ribbing. Anyways, if that makes any sense, I'm sorry. And it's too wide. I will put it on and show you guys so you can see, but it is definitely too wide at the neck and I need to figure out what to do about that. And I know some people will put elastic to correct it, so I do have to look into that. I don't know how well that will work. It's not like a deep one and I don't know if I can hide it very nicely, but I'll have to check that out. But let me put it on and you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, okay. So in the picture of the pattern, the neckline does not scoop out this far. Like it comes pretty far out and it does kind of roll up, like, you know, has that kind of a weird, so I'm not happy with that. I'm hoping if I can get, and this is blocked and everything, so it did increase in size. I'm hoping if I can get a little bit of elastic in there, it can correct the problem. But other than that, like it's a pretty nice fit. It does have, you know, it's pretty tight on my arms, but not too bad. It's not like cutting in or anything. The length is pretty good. I can do like a little tuck there, whatever, into my pants if I want to. Might look kind of funny. So yeah, I don't mind that. It is, I find it's pretty heavy. It feels like a heavy yarn. It's the Kotlin DK weight yarn by Knit Picks in the color Shoal. I do have a full skein and a half, I would say, left over of the yarn. So I bought more than I needed. I don't know what to do with the rest of that. But I don't know if I like it as a shirt. The feel of it is a little scritchy. And it feels pretty heavy. Like usually in the summertime, my wardrobe consists of more of a lightweight shirt, t-shirt, tank top, like what I was wearing earlier. That's pretty light, even though it's a t-shirt. This feels heavy, and it might just be that I have to get used to a heavier material because when you're knitting, maybe it's typical like that. I just noticed too that it kind of has this weird gathering right here too for the underarms. I don't know if that's normal or not, but I don't know if I like that. So yes, neck needs to be fixed. And I need to weave in one of my ends. Other than that, okay, so I did the size small. So it has a good amount of positive ease. It's supposed to have 0 to 10 centimeters of positive ease, and I probably have the maximum amount there. I'd say it's about 10 centimeters positive ease. I do like that better. I wouldn't want it skin tight. It is a compound raglan. It's knit from the top down, and you do like the shoulder shaping and the increases and all that, plus you do German short rows for the pattern. And what else? It's a t-shirt. Oh yeah, you can do a t-shirt. They have 3/4 sleeves and long sleeve options, so there's good like variety there. They have 5 different patterns that you can put within the pattern, so I did pattern number 4 or something, which makes these ridges along it, so a little visual interest in the pattern. And she's like, you know, it's kind of a base t-shirt that you can put your own touches on yourself too. I think that's it. I think if I made it again, which I would because it has a bunch of options, I would do a wool option and a long sleeve option to see if I like that better, because wool does have a better stretch to it than this one, and it might be more, I don't know, fitted better. So yes, I would make it again, but I don't think I would make it with, I know I wouldn't make it with a cotton. I am not sure if I would make it again in a summer yarn, and I might make it again in a winter yarn. Yeah, okay, anyways, moving on. My next finished object, I'm not going to take this off yet between because I'm going to put on the next one too, is, so I'll grab it. I have also not weaved in this end here, but this is the mini, hold on. Yeah, mini mock neck tank by Jessie Made Designs. It's so small, it looks so small. It's so funny, I have to tell you guys first. I had this out blocking, and my sister-in-law came over because we were watching her lizard for her for like 10 days, and so when she was dropping off the lizard, she saw this blocking, and she's like, oh, is that tank top for my daughter? Like her daughter, who's 8 years old. And yeah, I am almost tempted to let her have it because it is pretty small, and it would be like a good cute tank top on a 7 or 8 year old, but it's supposed to look small. It's supposed to look like this, so I don't know. But let me put it on and I'll show you guys my likes, dislikes, all that stuff with it. I am not used to wearing a mock neck, or sorry, I'm not used to wearing a crop top. I don't usually wear crop tops. This is not something that I'm comfortable with at all. Showing stomach skin is not something I do, but here we are. Let's talk about it. I actually really like this design. I think it looks really nice. I do like the top of it. Like, I love the mini mock neck here, the shoulder designs. It's nice and high at the underarm, so I don't feel like I'm showing any of my bra off under there like the last one I made by Jessie Made Designs. This one has a better fit overall on top. It is supposed to be quite tight. The ease is 11.5 to 16.5 centimeters of negative ease. So to say that it's a good size for my niece who is 8 is like thinking that it doesn't have to be tight. But because it's supposed to be tight, I understand that this is supposed to fit an adult. But I'm still not used to it. I knit the extra small size because my gauge was a bit big. So what I ended up doing was I had some sock yarn, and I used that with some of my own hand-dyed yarn. So it was with the Sheepshire Pixie sock yarn combined with my yarn, which is a mix of 80% BFL and 20% silk, which I think was a super fine thickness, even though it was thicker than the sock yarn. Anyways, it's fine. I combined them and then knit this with that. And yeah, so I did it to specs for the length, and I ended up I didn't weave in the ends because I do have some leftover yarn, and I figured I can lengthen this if I want to. So that's why the ends aren't woven in yet. I might unpick the bind off and the ribbing and just lengthen it a bit, because I do have quite a bit of it left over. I'll show you how much. I didn't realize that I was gonna end up with so much. I could have totally gone longer, but I have like this much yarn left over, which was something like 35 grams of yarn or 37 grams of yarn or something like that. So it's definitely enough to get a few extra centimeters, or more than a few, which might make this more of a wearable top for me. The only way I can see wearing it as is if I get some high-waisted pants, which I don't own. So I have to buy high-waisted pants. Like, these shorts are kind of high-waisted, but I'm really hiking them up to make it work. Or even a high-waisted skirt, it might be cute. The yarn is a bit itchy though, I'm finding, even just wearing it now. I haven't worn it yet. Wearing it now, it is feeling quite itchy. So I don't know if I'd be able to do a full like wear of it for a day without being annoyed by it. It's wool. It's not like, it only has a little bit of silk in it, so it's mostly like a heavy wool. I would not be able to wear this during the summertime. It'd have to be a spring or a fall or like a winter tank, which incidentally is actually okay. I do wear tank tops in those seasons mostly because every 2 weeks I have to get physio done on my shoulder, and so I need a tank top for that. So I mean, it isn't out of the realm of me wearing tank tops in those seasons. But it's kind of weird wearing a high, what's the word I'm looking for? High-waisted. Nope. Mini. There we go. It's kind of strange wearing a mini tank top made out of wool in the wintertime to go to my physio appointments. So anyways, I think the only way I could see myself wearing this, not in the summertime, is to lengthen it. So we'll see if I have the desire enough. I should, because like I want to make this wearable. I made it. I should use it, or I'll pass it on. But the thing is, if I were to pass it on to my niece who's 8 years old and she were to wear it like a normal tank top, it would itch her too, and she probably wouldn't wear it. So yeah, anyways, I like the pattern. I would totally knit it again. I would knit it again, but add length right away. Is I'd make sure I had enough yarn for that, because the reason I didn't knit it longer this first time around was I was nervous I was going to run out of yarn before doing the neckline. What I should have done is put the stitches on hold, done the neckline, and just finished off knitting it with the leftover yarn. I should have just done that, but I was too lazy. Serves me right. Okay, I'm going to take this off so I can show you guys my bind offs. Okay, so for the mini mock neck tag, she does get you to do a tubular bind off, and I never had done a tubular bind off before. This is my first time doing it, and I'm actually quite proud with how it turned out. I think it looks really good for my first time, especially. The neck one I did second. The body one I did first. I'm hoping this is showing up. I have no idea. But I think I did a pretty good job, considering. I think it looks decent. So, and I actually enjoyed the process of it. I really like doing the tubular bind off. I thought it would be really frustrating because a lot of people that talk about it don't like doing it. It's quite tedious, but just put on a show and it was all good. So I don't mind unpicking it, redoing this if I was really wanting to fix my mistake, or not my mistake, but just use all my yarn to make it longer so it's more of a wearable garment. Okay, the other thing I didn't do as to pattern was when you're making this tank top, you're knitting the front straps first, and then you're going to pick up along the neck, or the shoulder here, and carry on down the back. When I was picking up here, I could not make my knits and purls, like that kind of edging that you see at the border, line up. So I just ended up knitting in the center here, not worrying about trying to make it match. I did that on both sides, and it's not really noticeable. It actually adds a little bit of a design element because they both have it. It doesn't look like a mistake. It looks like it was meant to be like that. I just couldn't pick up those, and do that knit and purl stitch and make it look like it was matching. So that's that. I think that's all I had to say about this. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned too, it does have short rows in the pattern, so that's nice. Hence the back is higher than the front. Okay, so those are my 3 finished objects. I just have those 3, and then on to my works in progresses. I'm gonna actually start with my step-by-step cardigan, because you guys have seen that one. It's been a work in progress for a while. I have it in a bag that I bought from Canadian Tire. I saw this. Okay, these bags are like a canvas bag with a rope handle, like rope handles, and a nice zipper enclosure. And it has like a nice white lining with a pocket, and it was 20 bucks. So I got it, and then I went back and bought 2 more because I really like it. It's perfect. It's so big. It's nice and big for a sweater. And it's like a nice project bag for really cheap. So anyways, here we have my step-by-step cardigan in there. So since my last video, I have done a bit of progress. I finished the body. So here you can see my stitch marker. This is where I last worked on it during my last episode. So I knit all the way down from that, did the ribbing at the bottom. Now this is also an Italian bind off. Okay, so I think the difference is a tubular bind off does those setup rows and Italian bind off doesn't, or something like that. This I did not do setup rows on. I didn't do the knit 1, slip 1, purl 1, slip 1, whatever. I just did the bind off. And I just did the bind off, and I think it looks kind of sloppy. I know it looks kind of sloppy. I did a sloppy job. It looks better at this end, which is the end I finished on. It looks much more sloppy at this end. So I'll show you guys. This I'm not as proud of. But that's okay. It's my second time doing Italian bind, well, first time doing the Italian bind off technically. because I didn't do those setup rows. But anyways, the body's all done. I just have to do the sleeves now, and then I have to do the button band, and then she's all done. So I'll put this on. This is the step-by-step carton by handmade by Florence. It's a free pattern. You can download the pattern, and you can also get a video tutorial, like it's a whole video knit along whatever showing how to make it, and it's lovely. It comes just down to my kind of like my hips are my natural hip bone is here, so it comes a bit lower than that, which is good because I want it to be lower than the shirts that I wear under it, and it'll probably grow a little bit. So yeah, that's how she's coming along. So the gauge is 16 by 21 centimeters, and I wasn't quite hitting gauge, so I did go up on my needles. What was I using? Yeah, I was doing a 6mm needle for the body. The pattern calls for 5.5, and then I will use a size, I did use a size 5 for the ribbing, and I will use a size 4.5 for the button band. And here we go. I did the size C, which is I guess a medium, because I wanted to make sure it was going to be big enough to go over shirts. And it's supposed to have 15 centimeters of positive ease. So actually, I'll put it on again. This isn't including the button band, obviously, so the ease will go up because of that. But like putting edge to edge there, yeah, I think it actually has a pretty good amount of positive ease already. And then once the button band goes in, it'll be a bit more. So that's good. It's a top-down garment, and you knit it flat until the sleeves you knit in the round. And then you do the double knitted button band, which I've never done before, so that'll be new to me for this. And hopefully I'll get the sleeves going pretty soon. The yarn I'm using is Bramble Ridge's woolen spun yarn. It's 100% merino, it's DK weight, it is non-superwash, and it's in the colorway Dusk. And I'm just starting on my second 2 balls. So what I ended up doing was, I was doing, because it's hand-dyed yarn, I'm alternating the balls so that it doesn't look like stripy. So I did 2 for the body, and now I'm on my last 2, and I'm going to alternate it for the sleeves. Here it is up close. And it's kind of just, like, I really had to stretch this around it because it's kind of just a bit too big for this yarn cozy like I was talking about. So I definitely need to make a bit of taller ones next time I make these. So yeah, I've got 2 balls left, and this one I haven't used yet. This one I just had to dip into this one just to get the last couple of rows of the ribbing done and the bind off done. So I almost made without dipping into this for the whole body. I actually lengthened it. It's the pattern says, what was it? Oh yeah, the pattern says you want 18 centimeters between, like, from the armpit down before the ribbing, and I did 26. So that's almost, that was 8 more centimeters. But then for the ribbing, it said do a 7-centimeter ribbing, and I only did about 4, maybe 5-centimeter ribbing. So yeah. So anyways, the length is a little longer than the pattern suggested, but I like that. I did notice it at first, but the 18 centimeters, it was just looking too short on me, and I definitely wanted it long enough to cover shirts that I was wearing, so the shirt wouldn't stick out the bottom of the garment. So that I'm gonna have to keep working on. Hopefully I'll have it done, in a couple of weeks. That's my plan anyways. That's the goal. Isn't that always? Back in the bag you go. I used to be a subscriber for Knit Crate, and one time in the Knit Crate box they had this kind of it's a cotton blend yarn, and I wound it up and I never knew what to do with it, so it sat there in like a ball form for years, and I finally got around to making something with it. It's kind of, I had to really kind of guess about what yarn this was because I didn't keep the book that it came with, so I did have to look on Ravelry for the information. I'm pretty sure that I got it right though. I found it, I have to read this. So I think it was Asher from Yuru Yarn, and it's a sport weight yarn. It is 36% linen flax, 34% cotton, 19% tencel, and 11% nylon yarn, and it's a chain net yarn. So it did match up to kind of the look of the yarn and everything. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. So it's nice summer yarn is what I'm getting at. So I wanted to make a summer garment out of it. And coming into fall might not be the best time of year, but I really don't follow those kinds of, I don't know, I don't really follow that. I just knit what I want to knit and it'll be ready for next summer. So that's great. And like I said, I go to a physio appointment every 2 weeks for my shoulder. I have to wear tank tops anyway, so this might be perfect for that. So onto the pattern. I am making the Leela top by Kadri, and it is a beautiful tank top that's knit top down. It's a square neck construction. It is knit flat, and then you join it in round for the rest of the body. And you do make some I-cord straps as well for the shoulders. It does not have any short row shaping. So I was watching some other YouTubers talking about their Leela tops, and I think some of them just added an extra repeat between the patterns here at the back to make it come up a bit higher at the back than at the top and then at the front, so that it doesn't like feel like it's choking you. This is as far as I've got on mine. This is the front of it. The yarn is very inconsistent, and I don't know if it's because I was, like, it had been balled up for so long before I started using it, but it's very, like, thick and thin all over the place. I'm going to show you one of the balls here so you can see the chainette hopefully a little better. But this is the yarn, and that's the chainette. I hope it's showing up. I do like the yarn in the fact that it feels very airy. It feels nice and light. I feel like this top will be a very nice light tank top, so I'm happy about that. It's kind of scritchy to work with, but I'm hoping that will calm down with blocking. And it's inconsistent, like I said, so it looks very messy. It looks very messy, but that's okay. It will be blocked, and hopefully it'll be fine. It'll be fine anyways. I'm sure it'll look beautiful. I do love the pattern, and so even if I don't like the pattern in this yarn, I will still make the pattern again in a different yarn because I do like the look of it. It is, so let me think here. It's supposed to be a 24 by 36 for the gauge, and I pretty much made matched gauge on these needles anyways, because I'm using 3.75 millimeter needles. The pattern calls for 3.5 millimeter needles, so I went up a size to make a gauge, and I'm knitting the size 3. And it's supposed to be 0 to 5 centimeters of positive ease. So yeah, hopefully that's going to be, I mean, I'm not sure yet. Hopefully it'll be right. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention though about this pattern, it does have an applied I-cord edging. So as you're knitting it, you are also knitting the I-cord. And on one side, it looks great from the back. On the other side, it looks super sloppy. So I'm going to show you. This side, this is the back of it. It looks pretty nice. The front looks like you can't even tell. The front's fine. This side at the back, it looks so messy. And the front looks fine. But this back is like, you can see gaping and stuff. And I'm not sure, like, I understand why one side would be different than the other because it depends on when you're slipping the stitches versus when you're knitting those stitches again for the construction. I get that, but it's a pretty big difference. And I'm sure it's like in the end it's going to be fine. It probably won't be noticeable, but I'm just noticing that. And I think it's the fabric, not the pattern. And I'm hoping that if I do make this again and I use more of a like wool, it'll be obvious that if it's me or the yarn. Okay. Yes, hopefully it's the yarn, not me. So that's that one. All right, my last work in progress that I'm going to talk about anyways is kind of a amalgamation of patterns, if you will. I finally started working on the yarn that I got from Bramble Ridge. So I'm working with her own spun yarn, and then she sells DK weight. Hold on, I can figure it out. DK weight Surrey. She has DK weight Surrey, and then she also has her own spun yarn that I got from her. and I've been humming and hawing about what I want to do with it. It's such beautiful yarn that I didn't want to waste it. Not waste it necessarily. I shouldn't say waste it because it'd be perfect as a cowl or a hat. But I don't usually wear a ton of cowls, and I have enough hats, and so I didn't want to make one of those with it and never use it. So making a top. So I actually was going to make the June top with it, but as I was going, it's pretty, like it's a pretty thick, warm garment. It's wool or Surrey. It's not a summer yarn at all. And I didn't want to make a tank top and not be able to wear it in the summertime because it's too hot. So I decided partway through making the June top, which is a top by Petite Knit, which is a tank top, that I maybe wanted to do a t-shirt instead. And I would have started with a t-shirt, but I wasn't sure if I would have enough yarn because I've got one ball of the Surrey DK and just one ball of the hand-dyed, her own spun up yarn here. But I actually am seeming to have a lot of the Surrey still to go. Like, I did my measurements and my calculations and everything, and it seems like I should have enough of the Surrey anyways to make sleeves. So what my plan is I'm going to do like 15 rows in this one right now, which is what I'm just starting, and then I'm going to get sleeves made up in the Surrey and then do like a bottom up construction sleeve attachment, which I've never done. So in order to do that, I needed a pattern because I've never done bottom-up shirts and added sleeves or anything. I didn't know how that would work. So I ended up buying a pattern also by Petite Knit, which is the Rigmore Tee. And it's a pattern that has a pattern on the shirt. I'm not going to use that pattern. I just wanted the dimensions and knowing how many stitches to put on hold and how many to add and all that for the sleeves. It seems like a silly reason to buy a pattern, but I will probably make the actual shirt with the pattern eventually. But yeah, I needed to figure out how to do sleeves. So that's what I did. Anyways, once I get a few more rows here, I will do the sleeve part because the June top, luckily you are bottom up, and I did a provisional, no, is that right? Provisional cast on? Yeah, I did a Judy's Magic cast on so that I can still add length to it. So I thought was, once I get the pattern done for the colorful part, I will put the sleeves on, do the neckline, and then I will pick up on the bottom here and go all the way down until it's at the length that I need or the yarn runs out, whichever comes first. And it'll be a t-shirt, which is much more usable through the fall and the winter and the spring. Especially because my favorite thing to do in the fall and the spring is to wear my t-shirts with a nice vest that I have, a nice vest. And yeah, anyways, that is this. What else? I mean, oh yeah, and because I'm kind of going off a pattern, I am doing the June top sizing. So I'm doing a size small. It's supposed to be a 5 centimeter negative ease. I'm not sure if I will get that, but it kind of looks like I might. It's pretty, I don't know, I think it might be about that anyways. And I'm using 4mm needles. The pattern for the June top calls for 4 or 3.5, so I am using the size of needle recommended. And I think I also, like when I was picking the t-shirt to use as well, I tried to make sure it went on the same gauge as what this is, so it's close. It's a little bit off, but it's close enough that I think I can do it. The only thing I have to say though, negative maybe, not negative, but Surrey DK is a pain to work with. It is beautiful, but it's a pain to work with. So this will be a labor of love. Okay, those are all of my works in progresses and my finished objects. I got through them all. I hope I didn't miss anything. I want to quickly do my acquisitions and then we'll be done. So when I was on vacation and I went to the Kootenays, there's a store in Nelson called Burkana Wool Shop. I think I named that right, Burkana Wool Shop, that I got to go to. And I was so delighted to go there because they have a ton of yarn that I can't find anywhere else except for online. And so I I had to really resist a lot of the yarn there and just buy a little bit. But anyways, I went there and I got some yarn. So I'm going to show you, the first one I got was this Super Socks color 6-ply superwash yarn. It's a self-striping yarn that I am super excited to work with. I've never used self-striping yarn before, so I thought, why not? I should buy some and make some socks. So that's the plan. That's the look of how it's supposed to be. And I'm going to make a pair of socks with these. And then I bought macrame braid yarn. I bought 2 different kinds. So I'm not going to use these for probably what it would be used for, macrame. I want to make a bag out of it. So I bought these 2 colors, and I thought it would look nice to make like a braided bag, for like sturdy bag for like going to the beach or something. So that's why I bought these 4mm macrame cord. Yeah, we'll see. That's a plan. I'm not sure when I'll get around to it, but that was what this is for. In one of my other bags that I got from Canadian Tire is a sweater's quantity worth of Sunday by Sandus yarn. And it is, let's see, does it have a colorway on here? I don't know how to read Dutch, but it's kind of like a yellow, golden color. I was trying to figure out if it was a good color for my skin tone. The lady at the shop said she thinks it matches okay, so I'm hoping it will. With this, I'll tell you what I want to make. Let's see. So it's 100% wool. It is non-superwash. It's 50 grams in a ball. It's 235 meters per ball. I've got 5 of them. And so that's about 1,175 meters total. So I was thinking of making either the Mia sweater or the simple wool blouse or the cozy one sweater were my 3 options for that. And the last thing I got in one more bag at Canadian Tire is Drops Baby Merino in this beautiful blue color. This is 100% wool as well. It is superwash. It is 50 gram balls. There's 175 meters per ball. I bought 5 of them, so that's 875 meters in total. And I don't know if it has a colorway either. We made sure that the color lot matched though, so that I wouldn't have any issues that way. But I'm thinking with this one, I was thinking of making the Marble Mount, what is it, Marble Mount? Iris tank top. I've never made a ranunculus, so that's on the list, maybe. Or the poppy tea, maybe. Poppy tea? Maybe. Okay. Or maybe, I don't know, anyways, something I will make with those. So that's that. I think that's everything. Whew, we got through it. Thanks for joining me today, you guys. I hope that wasn't too much of a overly long video. And we will not have such a spacing between this one and the next video, so we will have less to talk about, hopefully. Yeah, it won't be as long. With that, I will see you guys next time.